Hi guys, I hope you're good since last video. So in this video we are going to deploy on OpenShift Red Hat Django app that I made from scratch. So it's just an application which is crude, so just people will be able to fill a form to enter some details about financial markets, for example, and they will be able to delete it and update those informations. There will be a login page and a subscription page. We use Python and Django for the application, and it's more about the deployment that I want to show you, not the application, because the application I just made something like MVP just to be able to deploy it. But I'm going to show you that there's a CI/CD, there's some automation happening. So whenever we're going to do a push in our terminal, we will be able to have this application running with the updated code from GitHub. Okay, so now we're going to start. This is the Red Hat OpenShift platform. We're going to just open here the terminal. So we're using a database, which is a Postgres database. It has been set in the Django application. So let's deploy here the Postgres database. I'm going to show you the command for that. Postgres. Good. Let me get the right line. Okay. This one here. I'm just going to paste it. The password. Put Django. Let's change this one here is going to be Django DB. And here we're going to set the password to be. I'll just check what I put in my Django application. Django 1. Alright, after you just deploy it like that, so the user get OC or kubectl. It's like Kubernetes, so that's a cluster. In that cluster, we're inside the node, and we're gonna deploy some pods. Inside the pods, we'll be running some containers. So this is the Postgres image from Docker Hub, so it's just going to get the latest Postgres image. This is the command OC new app. We're going to create this application, which is the pod is going to be built, and here the variables are the environment variables that we're going to set. The user, here it will be the database, the name, and the password. I just press enter, and now it's going to start building this pod. In the meantime, I'm going to try to get the other command, which is the one deploying the application, and after I'm going to explain you how it is formatted. Where is it? It's this one here. I'm going to deploy the other one at the same time. Okay, now it's gone. It's going to start deploying. So that's the other one. OpenShift Django Postgres. So that's the Django one. And let me show you here the format of it. Where is it? New app strategy, GitHub repo. Is this one. get it without going to the next one. That's good. Alright. So let's clear this terminal. And paste it here. So how is it formatted when you want to deploy your application? OC new app. So you create the application with that. And here you choose the strategy. Strategy for me, it's a source. It can be Docker, so it means you're getting the image from the. You're getting you're getting the code from Docker Hub, so from the image there. Here I put the source because I wanted to take it from GitHub. So this is the strategy you need to use when you take your code from GitHub. Here you put the OpenShift compatible image of the Python runner, because Django it's a Python application, so you need something for the. You need like a computer somehow just to make it easy for you to understand. Here we're going to use a CentOS. So CentOS, I'm going to show you how I did get that one. The image. So I'm running on Python 3.8, so I'm just going to get the CentOS for Python 3.8. After there's a little tilde here, so you get rid of the arrows. The arrows you don't need to enter them. This is just to separate. And after you put your GitHub repo URL, so you go into the URL straight away. You get it. You put it here, and you add .git. And after it, you put a dash on the name of the branch that you want to deploy. So you can also select the branch. By default it goes to main, but if you put this dash on the name of your branch, it's just going to catch the code from the upstream in that branch. So GitHub repo, you get the URL, you add .git at the end, and after you put a dash on the name of the branch. And after you put a secret key, the Django secret key here. So after that you just define environment variables. So here we have you have a Django secret key. After we have the database service name. So you put the name, it's like a DNS. So this Postgres, for example, here is deployed. You don't get the IP and you put it here. You put the name of the service. I'm going to show you after how we find this name. This name is going to be PostgreSQL, and here the database name. That's the one that you have set when we just launched the database. Here we have called it Django database, so that's what you put here. You put your user. So user, we say it's tech, TECH tech. On the password. I forgot what password we put, but you use the same password that you set here. I'm just going to check which password I did put before. I put, where is it? Anyway, so you have to set the password. So this is a pretty long command, but you're providing environment variables, and you're providing your GitHub repo, the branch, and then image. So how did I get this image? So I went into the Docker Hub here. You see, and I just typed here this CentOS 3.8. Just tap enter, and it gives me this image. So I just grab it from here. You can go inside it if you want, but you just need to grab the name of it. I tried before with Ubuntu, but I didn't. It wasn't successful actually. It didn't work. So I just used the CentOS. Here now I'm going to show you on the terminal. I'll just clear this. So on the terminal I'm going to show you the service. So you're going to see the service name. var. So those are the pods that we have active at the moment. And this is the service name Postgres. You see, that's the one you should put after in the comment. The service name is this, so you deploy it. After that, you know the service name, and you come and you fill the Django environment variables. So this is the Django app, which is deployed here. And what we can check, just gonna move it down. We go here. This is the first build. It's running. We can see the logs. It did like it has migrated all the database. So that means the connection between those two pods is done because they're in the same space, they're in the same node. Let's just go to topology again. So here they are in the same space, as you can see. Because they're in the same space, they can communicate between each other. So this one has its port open, port 5432. That's the default port for Postgres, and here we use the same port, and the host, we say this Postgres, so it knows how to find this service. It's going to pass through something that we don't see, so like it's called cluster IP. So it's going to pass through the service through Postgres. So let's go in the admin page just to show you networking. There's the routes. See, there's no routes. So we can create a route to be able to see the application running. So you just go here, create. You can tap Django project route. Alright. You just provide this path. So it's just gonna go here at the index page, the service, which service you want to public to access to. So the public will be able to access only to the app. The Postgres database is going to be on the background, so no one, unless only the application will be able to communicate with this one. So we open it here. We target the port. It's 8080. The port here, and we create. So the Django native port, you know, it's 8000, but you have to set it to 8080 because when OpenShift builds the container, it's gonna open only this port actually, and you need your app to be running straight away after the build. Otherwise, you're gonna get an error. So you create this. You can click here straight to open it on the browser. You see the app is running. That's cool. And you can go also directly to the developer part. You click on your pod, and after, when you go down here, you see you have the route. So you just click on the route. I can briefly show you the app. So that's how the app is. You can sign up here because you don't have any login yet. Just let me create a login very quickly. I'm just going to code it Django admin. It's Django admin. Oh, let's code it analyst. Analyst number 123. Here, give him an email 123 at Gmail. Let's see, Creditizens. After we enter a password, has to be 8 characters minimum, and with a special character, and at the same time it should be different from the username. register. You see the password is too common, so I used an easy password, that's why. I'm gonna use something easy at the same time. Should be fine. No, too common again. Let's do alright. No, I don't want to save it. So we said this. And we log in. When we log in, we just arrive in a simple page. This is just to show that the app is running and there's a connection with the database that you have deployed. So it's written in French here, new report. Here you can enter informations about stocks. Let's say we enter for analysts, S&P 500 from the United States. It's an index. That's the result. It's good, but it's bad at the moment, so I'll put bad in French, bad. There's no dividends. On the commentary, I just put going down. I mean, it's going down now, the S&P 500. I'll submit, and after it's going to be here, and you'll be able to, it's all written in French, but still, you understand what I mean. So this is for the app, and you have the user logged in here on the top. So that's about the app running, but it's running, it's recording, it's getting information from the database. What we want to do now that we have this, let's start the automation. So you go in on the left side here, using the developer. You see there's admin, administrator, and developer. So you stay on the developer options. So in this tab here, the tab builds. Here you can see the builds, but you just click on it, and after you scroll down, and you see here you have the webhooks. So you're going to use the GitHub webhook, but the one with secrets. Here it says with secrets. So that's the one we want. All right, you copy it. Up, copy, it's copied. Yes. After you go in your GitHub repository, you go into your repository. You see here there's tabs. You choose the one saying settings. On the left side, you choose the option webhooks, and after you go here and you put the payload URL. That means that's the URL that we just took from here. So the webhook, to be able to communicate with it. Here we choose application JSON format. After you just leave it, just let me see something. Yeah. On push event, here you can just, so whenever you do a push, it's gonna automatically, so how does it work? So here you're gonna create the webhook. After, when you're working on your code locally and you push it to the upstream here on GitHub, GitHub is gonna use this IP endpoint to notify OpenShift, Red Hat on the cloud, that you have some new commits. So after that, what your platform here, OpenShift, is gonna do is gonna do a git clone of your repository. So it's gonna take that new code and rebuild an image, and after it's gonna redeploy it. So you get straight away a new version. Just by doing it like that, you get a new version deployed after you push. So whenever you push something, make sure that locally it's working. Otherwise, it's gonna crash your service. I mean, for the public, that's not pretty cool. So let's activate this. This is activated, and now let's go here and see what's happened. what is happening here. Topology. We go back. Nothing happened for sure because I didn't push it. So I just keep this screen. I'm gonna go into my browser. Let's clear this. Alright. So just do git status. Let's just check. Good. So we have all those modified files that are not in. Let's just do git add points to see if everything is in. Alright, everything is here. And now let's push this. We'll do a commit. I don't know if you've seen the previous video. It's about Git. Git and how to use it and the different commands. So you see I'm using just the normal commands. Git commit. Let's put a nice message to say that we have updated environment variables and changed the test automation code, because actually I have some automations happening with SonarCube and the Django. So in GitHub you have some options called the Git action, where you can actually test your code before deploying. So I'm just gonna send this like that. Good. And now just do a git push. Alright. So now I push it. I'm in the main. I push it in the main. And let's go to see what's happened. Is something happening? You see here, there were before written build 1 only. That's the one that I did in front of you using this CLI. But now it's doing it automatically. So whenever I push something new, it's gonna come here. I'll just show you the logs. You see, I'll just show you at the beginning it did a git clone. So it has cloned the repository, and after it went just down there and starts applying all those changes. So doing also a git, installing the requirements, all the dependencies, and building the image. So let's see what's gonna happen next. We have to wait a bit for that to be done. Alright, building the image. This is installing at the moment all the dependencies. That's good. That's what we want. So all the dependencies have been installed, collecting the statics automatically. Here, signature of that. Pushing the image into the OpenShift registry. The push is successful. That's good. And our app is still running. There's no errors. I hope so. There's an error at the moment. Pushback loop. Let's see the logs. Maybe there's a command that didn't work. Let's refresh. That's good. It's better to see it with an error, so we see how we fix it at the same time. Enable to configure handler. Yes, this is for the logs. So let's go back to our terminal and make this change. So I'm going to do a cd. I'm going to clear this. So that's a good example. We did deploy some code that we have changed. But as I told you, you have to check locally that it works. I skipped that step. I didn't check. But you see now the pod is running. But every time it runs, it sees that error. So it goes back into a crash loop, back off. That means it's just it keeps trying again and again, but it sees the error coming back, so it's gonna fail every time. So just let me go in the right settings.py. I'm just going to go straight away to it. So, web app settings here. That's good. That's the end of the file. You see here I put the logs to be here, but so I'm just gonna skip this part because you don't need to see the logs and everything. But this app was also able to collect the logs. Good. So this is a change. So git add. Just want to show you the git at the same time. Git status. You see it's red. I know my terminal is not nice for the eye, but that's how it is. Git add. Dot. We add it. Check the status again. It's good. Green, it's back, it's in the staging area. And git commit and disabled the login function for the tutorial OpenShift automation. So this is just because I want you to see it working after the automation, but this is a pretty good example that we see. We have deployed something is not working. We need to work quickly and to bring it back to normal. So I just push it up, git push. What's gonna happen after a push? Because we have set the webhook, yes, it's gonna start the rebuild. You see the build number 3 is running. So let's cross fingers. But there's no need to cross fingers, it's gonna work this time for sure. That's good. I'm gonna show you something in the meantime while he's deploying. You know, you have your data into the Postgres, but you can also create storage. You can create some storage. PVCs, so persistent volume claims. You have to create the claims. So to have an allocation of no, this is like this. Let's just call it web app storage. Let's put just 1 gigabyte for the moment. That's it. And after you create it, and you have your web app storage. Let's create another one, the Postgres, because whenever you have this kind of trouble that I had now, what's gonna happen? You're gonna lose all your data. But if you had this persistent volume on the side, you'll be able to keep those data. Storage, call it Postgres. Just don't put capital letters. Here, Postgres. About that. Just put 1 giga just to show you. Create. The system volume claim. It's pending. It's pending because it hasn't been allocated. So first you create the persistent volume claims, and after whenever someone, a developer needs need some storage, you can request for that storage if the storage exists, and here the storage exists. So you see the application now is running, but let's do just you click on the pod action, add storage, which claim you want. Me, I want the web claim, and I save it. Yes, won't pass. Just put this. It's gonna save everything. So you can choose. You can partition it and choose what you want to save. I just want to save what is in the home. And here, the computer, here I put Postgres, and I do the same. Storage, persistent volume, claim. If you use OpenShift, don't be ashamed to use the platform, because this solution is made to make life easy working with Kubernetes, and just use it like that. You can also use the commands as I showed you before, the OC commands. You can also use, I think, kubectl. I'm just going to check. kubectl get pods, request priority, API OpenShift. Yes, here. I don't know why I get this message, but yeah, you see you can get the pods like that with kubectl. So you can use or kubectl or OC get pods. You can also get it like that. So you have OpenShift commands or kubectl. So when you install the OC CLI in your computer, you will be able to see that it has also installed kubectl. So it's gonna take some time to go to be connected with the persistent volumes, but we can check if our app is working. Remember, we had an issue before, but this looks nice. That's not the one. I think that's 001. Where is it? Running. So that's the one before we had some issues, so I stopped. Migration, cannot touch this, permission denied, but this one we're not gonna make it. I just need to change, because I have, there's something that you need to know. So when you wanna deploy some Django application, you need here, you need to have this app.py. In the app.py, you're going to use it to run some commands just before the application runs. So at the end of the build of the image, there will be OpenShift is going to recognize this app.py. You can provide another file, but at this time you need to set an environment variable for that. So I'm just going to cut app.py. You just see what it's in. I'll just sudo nano as well. PY, because there's the colors. So you import OS, because you put the shebang just to make sure it recognizes that it's a Python script. And after here, you run the migration. So that's how it has migrated. It's like a little script. And here I wanted to create the logs, but I have deactivated the logs for the moment. And so you have to create the file for Django to know where to get the logs from, where to put the logs. And here I'm using Gunicorn to run the server inside the container. And you see the port, I set it to 8080 because the port 8000 doesn't work natively, and when troubleshoot it doesn't set the port straight away to 8000. Okay, so that. Deactivated script to create log file location. That's good. Let me push this. Right. This is running perfectly. And there will be another build coming. So how you can organize your teams? If you have the resources, you can maybe have for each developer an account on OpenShift. That's like giving them test environment. You can also set limits. So they have limits in the testing environment for the resources. And you can organize your Git for them to have their own feature branch. And whenever they want to do a test, they can set a webhook webhook to their own branch. So whenever they do a push, they can straight away see what's the result in the OpenShift platform. So that can be interesting when developers they have those say DevOps practices. So that's a good way also to match both sides, the people who develop and the people who are more in the infrastructure and the operation side. So this is nice because you can see the logs and everything. So the container now is creating. The build is complete. Here it's creating. So we don't get the logs yet. It says running. Is that the same? Let's just go in the public address just to see if it's still working. You see the application is still working, so it's all good. That was a short video just to show you OpenShift and how you can set automation. So you do a webhook here on GitHub. So you get this this endpoint from here, from the build and the developer side, and you scroll down and you get the URL with a secret. I showed you also the persistent volumes. So here you get all the storage and the storage persistent volumes. I mean here this is the route that you have to create for the public, but the storage is here. Persistent volume, which you see now they say bound, and before they were pending. Now they bound to different services. That's good. And when you deploy, you open the CLI and you do your deployment from here, the first deployment. So straight after deployment, you're gonna set this automation to be able to work from the root from here, from your local computer. All right. I hope that you enjoyed, and see you next time.